Well, hello and good evening, everybody. It's Jamie here, and welcome to this our Monday Night Live, where we spend an hour or so together chewing the fat, talking all things cruise and travel related, with a little bit of cheekiness thrown in for good measure, of course, most of which will come from you, no doubt. And tonight, I think you'll also be getting a splattering, perhaps, of frustration too, as I tackle a very unsettling account of our claim against Maleth Aero and our next steps. How exciting is that going to be? We also have our usual items as well. I know him so well, and on someone's telly somewhere before, of course, taking all of your questions and shout outs, which is the most important part of our evening. Of course, we all understand this. I'm going to just give you a tiny warning as well. For some reason, lives have been mucking up a little bit. It all went a bit pear-shaped near an hour in last night with patrons. And when I started this a little bit earlier, it actually froze and my heart was pounding. You know, I don't like letting anyone down. So look, if things go pear-shaped tonight, I'm really sorry. And I will have to just reschedule to another evening, okay? Might be this camera I'm using, might be, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get the party started. I think I'm going to need some shots tonight, given what I've got to discuss. So this is my Belvedere. It's a lovely Belvedere vodka. I'm saying cheers to you all. This could be the end of the show, actually. I could take this and freeze midair, you know. So cheers to you all. I haven't done one of these for a while, so it's probably going to burn. What are you all drinking, by the way? Hi, everybody. I can see you. Cheers. Oh, God, I don't want to. Need some Dutch courage. Holy All right, so it's strong, but Belvedere is so good. So vodka here as well. Excellent. Oh, down it. I am. I love that some of you are down in your teas and coffees as well. You be careful with all that caffeine. It could do all sorts of unknown damage to you. Let's start with our usual check-in, please. If you're new to a live, well, normally we start by gauging how we all are, because this is a community and we're building you're building such a fabulous community spirit here, which I love, absolutely love it. In fact, before I came on, there were so many people chatting and checking in on each other. So essentially, if you are like rock bottom, you put a 0 in the chat and people are going to come rushing to your aid. They really will, and check in on you. But, you know, all the way up to a 10, meaning you are somewhere over a rainbow, way up high. I think I'm a 6 today, I'd say. Very, very busy as always. Obviously, I've got school tomorrow, 28 school work days left, by the way, until I become a full-time vlogger. That's my new way of saying vlogger. We sadly have a very poorly pet at home. Our little Shadow, bless her. She is deteriorating every day now, quite rapidly. So we have been doing our best to keep her comfortable and loved. She's sat on Matthew's shoulder right now, actually. She's just tucked in. That's all she seems to want to do at the moment, is tuck into our necks, on our shoulders, broxing away, showing that she's content. So that's quite sad in our household at the moment, but we are doing our best for her. We really are. So I'd say about a 6. Good evening, everybody. We've got a plethora of scores here as well. So please do check in with anybody who you think might need a little bit of TLC. That would be mucho apreciado, as we don't say in Spanish. Lovely to see some familiar faces and some new faces as well. I imagine if we've got some new faces here, it's because you're waiting for the Maleth information. God, I feel like I need another one of these now. Unfortunately, Matthew can't hear me. Otherwise, I'd be like, Matthew, can I have another vodka, please? Right, before we go any further, as I always say every single Monday, please could you give this video a cheeky little like/thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much as well for your support, because we have passed the 27,000 mark. We're not far from 27,200 at the moment. So that's all happened since we last met, which is fabulous, fabulous news. Thank you for your support there. Make sure you turn on those notifications. You won't get many emails from me, I promise you. But you do get an email to say when there's a new vlog being released every Wednesday and Saturday, and it tells you the title and the time that it is being released. Okay, so it's a good thing to do. Are we following each other on Facebook yet? Jamie W. Robbins. Remember the W for William. Very regal I am, aren't I? And we have a good old nose at each other's pictures. Most of you will be aware that's where I post most of my pics from my trips. It's not quite the same as it on X or Threads or Instagram. Whilst I post on all of those, there's only so many pictures you can do at a time, whereas on Facebook I'm literally photo dumping constantly. I hate that expression. Photo dumping everywhere, dumping on everyone. So come on over to Facebook and you'll be warmly welcome there. Don't forget, I am on X, Threads, and Instagram at TravelBlogJamie, and of course, patreon.com/TravelBlogJamie and cameo.com/TravelBlogJamie. I had the most interesting and unusual request for a cameo. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was a message for a rat community. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know if they know anything about me or my travel vlogging, etc. So I got one of my babies out and I just said, oh, hey, it's Travel Blog Jamie here. Don't know if you know anything about me. I am a rat lover, though, as well as a traveler. So that was a new one on me. Absolutely. But I loved it. I really did. Right. So it's now time for our first item. I'm cracking on with things today because the Maleth thing might take a little bit of time and patience. I've got people out there at the moment messaging me saying, Jamie, keep you cool. Jamie, be very, very measured. And then there's other people saying, Jamie, just go for it and say how you feel. For now, though, it's hashtag I know him so well, or not. This is where where I ask you a question. Do you know me? Do you know what's going on? And you post your comments in the chat. And what do you win, please? If you are the first one with the correct answer, I'm waiting for you. What do you win, please, folks? Let loose, Jamie, says someone. Prestige, Vicky Teese was in there before anyone. It's almost like she knew I was going to ask that question. Yes, and actually, bon voyage, a lifetime of prestige is what you win for this. So here we go with the question for this week. Last week, Matthew and I booked a cruise. I know, right? Imagine us doing that. You can't believe it, can you? We booked a cruise, but which cruise line and what's the name of the ship? A dinner with Jamie. Oh, Connor, I actually am a really good cook. Did you know that? I was going to be a chef at one point in my lifetime. So I repeat, the question of I know him so well this week is Matthew and I booked a cruise this week, but which cruise line and what was the name of the cruise ship? And in come the answers. Well, gosh, you lot are pretty good, aren't you? I don't know if anyone's got, oh gosh, I can see. One person's got the correct answer so far. Oh, Adam, Ambassador Scruff. That's an outrage, Adam, and you're going to go over my knee for that. Right, whilst you are thinking on that one and posting your answers, it's time for hashtag on someone's telly somewhere. Who knows whose telly? This is the part of the evening where I literally freeze and I give you about 4 seconds to take your screenshots, your snaps, your pictures, and you splatter them all over the internet, tagging me. I think we started doing it a number of weeks back because some of you kept taking screenshots of me when I had no idea you were doing it, and trying to get the worst screenshots you could possibly manage of me because you are a naughty, naughty lot. I must have the naughtiest subscribers and followers. I love it, though. Be as naughty as you want, you know that, yeah? So let me just get into position and I'll give you a little countdown when I'm ready. I'm not quite ready yet. Yeah, we'll do there. So this is Mr. Judgy Eyes, by the way. And I'm going to get into position. I need to adopt position. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, and that's enough time. Mr. Judgy Eyes, by the way, it's a luggage tag, will be part of a giveaway on Instagram at some point in the near future, like you do. I mean, I'm kind of fond of him. I wasn't going to give him away, but I've got a couple fabulous ones. I've got Paul Matthew, as you know, and Mr. Snaggletooth. So I don't want to be too greedy. So this one is going to get raffled away at some point. Right. I'm actually going to need to rely on some notes for this next item because, and I'm sure you can understand, I absolutely don't want to make any mistakes with this at all. When it comes to some of the dates and some of the quotes that I've got for you about this whole Maleth Aero fiasco. So I want to do it carefully and I want to do it correctly. So my apologies if my eyes are down here a little bit, but I'm sure you can understand it's really important I get this right. Okay. And Matthew and I have worked on this for some time. We're going to keep adding detail to it, and I'm going to make a vlog of it because I want to make sure that everybody affected has a chance to see this, and that the powers that be, the companies involved, actually are able to access that video. And on behalf of many, many people who message me daily about this. So it's something that I'm going to work on over the next couple of weeks, definitely. And of course, I am still optimistic and hopeful that this will be resolved, as it should be, of course. So here comes the serious talk. So you may well know, on December the 31st, 2023, it feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? Our Maleth Aero flight experienced a significant, I think it's fair to say, delay of 16 hours. This is the Matthew bit because he's very good like this. Now, under EU 261 legislation, we were and are still eligible for compensation of £520 per passenger, as are thousands of other people out there, or up to that amount, because of their significant delays with Maleth since P&O decided to partner with them because they felt that they could deliver a fantastic product. They can't. However, our journey to secure this compensation continues, as you are aware, to be very, very fraught with difficulties, revealing shortcomings of both the airline's responsiveness and even the Civil Aviation Authority enforcement capabilities, which is a massive concern to us. So fast forward a whole day to January the 1st, 2024, which is when we actually submitted our claim, because we don't muck about, and Matthew definitely doesn't muck about. And of course, 16-hour delay. Maleth Aero themselves on the flight were saying you need to put forward a claim to all passengers, not just us, obviously, as did P&O say exactly the same thing. They all agreed you need to put forward your claims. And that's what we all did, of course, including all the necessary documentation to support the claim. And on January the 2nd, this is great turnaround, Maleth Aero actually acknowledged receipt of our email, and they responded as well, stating our sincere apologies for the delay, and we are aware of our obligations, and the claim will be dealt with as soon as possible. 4.5 months ago, more than that now, actually. It will soon be 5 months. Listen to that. They are aware of their obligations. Well, I'm not so sure they are. And if they are aware of their obligations, they have certainly not met their own terms and conditions, that's for sure. So look, frustrated eventually with the lack of response from Maleth Aero, we absolutely escalated the issue to the Civil Aviation Authority, and I've recommended everyone out there do the same thing if they were in the same boat as us. excuse the pun, same flight as us, by filing a formal complaint to the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority. And they acknowledged receipt of our email on the same day. So again, very, very speedy turnaround. Now, the CAA initiated contact with Maleth Aero on our behalf late February, and said they would update us as soon as they received a response from Maleth Aero. They noted, and this is their words, "We aim to provide you with our final assessment within 10 weeks. However, our response times are reliant on prompt replies from airlines." Oh dear, this is Maleth Aero we're talking about here. Fast forward to the 27th now of March with a status update from the CAA, which is very kind of them. So after a number of weeks waiting, we did contact them. They did get back to us. We had assumed they received no response whatsoever from Maleth Aero, and the CAA, confirmed our suspicion there, stating, "We are currently in contact with Maleth Aero. Once we have more information, we will be able to advise everyone who was affected." So it felt encouraging to us to know that the CAA were still pursuing Maleth Aero. Fast forward to April, and Matthew sent a direct query to the CAA and emphasized just how straightforward the nature of our claim and other people's claims to the CAA was. Matthew said the delay, and this was quoting Matthew in his letter, "The delay was well over 4 hours on a long-haul flight, and compensation is payable under EU 261. There is nothing more to it than that." Very true. So we sought clarity on what the CAA was doing to resolve the issue, because the 10-week window had certainly come to an end. Fast forward to May, and the CAA finally responded to us, and this was the most shocking part, really. That is also quite upsetting, and will be upsetting for many people who are in the same situation as us. So their final response to us was absolutely disheartening. And they said that despite multiple attempts to contact Maleth Aero, the airline had not provided the necessary information to justify an extraordinary circumstances exception. And the CAA continued, "We have contacted Maleth Aero about your complaint and asked them to reassess it. I regret to inform you that despite a number of attempts, Maleth Aero has not responded to us with the information we need to assess an extraordinary circumstances exception." The CAA then went on and admitted their limited power, stating, "The CAA receives complaints and assists passengers in resolving them under the regulation. However, we do not have the legal power either to force airlines to respond to us or to impose a solution that is binding on an airline." So just to recap at this stage, what the CAA is saying, the regulatory body for aviation in the UK, Maleth Aero are just ignoring them, completely ignoring them. And P&O are aware of this, which makes me incredibly cross, because I've made them aware repeatedly. They are fully aware that Maleth Aero are doing very little and not communicating. We've had no communication since the start of January, and they had, in their own words, 2 months to resolve the issue. It's now nearly 5 months and still nothing. And P&O also are not responding to anything about this. They are just going along the no comment route, which is highly frustrating. It really is, because they are actually in partnership with Maleth Aero. So this has all obviously significantly hindered our ability to obtain the compensation which we are rightfully owed, and thousands of other people are rightfully owed. The CAA also, frustratingly, provided incorrect advice, because they suggested going via the UK Small Claims Court. But as the airline is not actually based in England or Wales, this is, of course, not possible at all. It really isn't. So the airline's failure to essentially process our claim promptly and transparently is evident from the lack of communication and follow through. We've had zero from them. We've had zero from P&O, and P&O just keeps saying, you have to go through Maleth Aero. Well, that's all well and good. But what happens when your partner is absolutely going out of their way to not correspond with thousands of people who actually are due compensation? So despite acknowledging our claim and the obligations, they did not provide any responses or justifications for the delay. Nada. The CAA's involvement, whilst admittedly supportive, ultimately proved ineffective. And many people out there have been saying to me, oh, the CAA will sort this, will sort that. And I've been saying to them, I'm not sure if you're aware that their capabilities are also limited in some areas. So where does this leave us? Where does this leave some of you? Well, our advice is as follows. First of all, make sure you document everything. This is partly a documentation from me to help all of you, and obviously to further these investigations as well. So keep records of all communication, delays, related expenses. Be persistent. I know it's hugely frustrating, and I think a lot of people are giving up, and I think it's wrong to do that, because actually we've paid very good money and they've completely mucked up numerous times, not just on our flight, and they have an obligation like every other airline has. And we've never had this issue with other airlines ever. Seek legal advice, and I can see some of you are saying that. I'm getting to it. If an airline is unresponsive, consider consulting with a lawyer to understand your options for taking legal action. Some people out there are talking about those of us affected forming a group and actually spreading the costs of legal action, which I think is a fantastic idea. So currently, Matthew and I are at the stage where we are now considering the next steps. I think we have reached out multiple times. We've been incredibly patient, and it's not working. Neither P&O nor Maleth Aero are responding to anything. And P&O actually have had ample opportunities to respond to us formally, but also on various social media platforms where I'm posting, asking for updates and saying, we've done this formally, but we're not getting responses. Can you do anything? Can you help? Are you going to actually address these issues? And they've just totally ignored everything. And I understand this could get me into trouble with P&O, and that's just tough. And can I also say, I've always been very transparent with all of you, and I had another snarky message today, which I don't appreciate actually, but, well, maybe you should stop using their product. And I've been very open and said to you all, we're not booking any more P&O cruises until this is resolved satisfactorily. And we haven't booked anymore. We had some legacy P&O cruises, and we have one more very short one that's all paid for. And I have to go on that one because it was a group cruise that I organized with some of my P&O groups. So I have to go on that one. It's all paid for, you know, but we haven't actually booked anymore, and we're not planning on booking anymore until this is resolved. I think it's also worth mentioning other dispute resolution alternatives, of course, like ABTA, and the CAA have absolutely said in the letter to us that P&O have an obligation here, as they have chartered the airline. P&O will tell you they don't have an obligation. The CAA will tell you P&O has an obligation. And I think any TA who's ever spoken to me has said P&O have an obligation since they've chartered this airline. They are partners. P&O will say they haven't. Interesting. And P&O just continue to pass the buck. You know, you have to contact Maleth. You have to contact Maleth. It's nothing to do with us. So That's where we're currently at. I didn't need so many notes after all, so that's quite good going, isn't it? I might be able to do that vlog after all without too much stress. That's where we're currently at. I wish I had some vodka left in there. Tiny little bit. Oh, still strong. And I'm going to read through all of your comments later because I can see that they're going crazy. Yes, meat sandwich. So I think I know some cruise groups out there. If any of them are watching this or any of them post this on the group, I know exactly what some of them will say. They'll say he's too measured, he's too kind, he's too composed, and I'm sorry if that is something you find inappropriate when I'm talking about this. But actually, I'm not going to sit here screaming, am I? I think most people can sense my frustration and my anger, and I think all of you know, whilst I'm absolutely certain you don't want to keep hearing about this constantly from me, I'm very conscious of that. I've tried to spread things out, and you know, there are some evenings when I say to you, I'm not going to talk about it tonight. Give me another week or two. So I don't want you to be sort of put off and you think that I'm pushing it constantly, but it is important that this